Any sound now? Any sound now? Any sound now? Now it's working? Oh my God, this is so bizarre. Okay, this is so flippin' bizarre. I don't know what the hell is going on. Oh boy. This is very frustrating. Alright, well, okay. So here we are. Hello everybody. I'm just gonna go right into it. But I clicked off that Tennessee. Did you see that? Well, all of the lines in the sky, and 2 hours later, all of the cloud coverage. And this is in Germany, where, yeah, the New World Order thugs are going after the farmers protesting. Pepper spraying them. Good on you guys. Hey, you're doing great, especially for the younger generation. You're doing great for, oh, that paycheck. Buyouts, FEMA buyouts, and people have no clue that, yeah, there are people behind the curtain working this agenda to get you out of your homes and then to raise the homes and then not have any structures there at all. And it just continues on and on. This is in St. Louis.
Winter weather. We also know that spring is luckily just around the corner. With that, though, comes rain and then, of course, flooding, something residents in our area need to be prepared for. And new tonight, our Russell Kinsall live in DeSoto with new relief on tap for victims. Russell.
Yeah, homes in this neighborhood here in DeSoto have flooded numerous times, and it's all because of flash flooding from Joachim Creek right over there. But now the town of DeSoto is getting money so that they can reduce the number of people living in this neighborhood in harm's way, and similar efforts are underway in both St. Louis and in University City.
And when it comes back tougher each time.
Ruby McCourt's home was flooded multiple times in the 28 years she's lived in this DeSoto neighborhood. She agreed to a FEMA flood buyout so she doesn't have the threat of danger or losing her home every time it rains.
So they say that if we get another one, the chances of it being completely gone, they said it will be like the movies. The house will be going down the road.
FEMA awarded the city $617,000 to buy out 5 homes that sit near Joachim Creek and have been hit by repeated flash floods.
It's amazing.
Susan Liley with the community group Citizens Committee for Flood Relief has worked for 7 years to reduce the number of people living in the dangerous flood zone.
The most important thing is to keep people from being in the floodwaters, from keeping our Main Street as safe as possible.
The city will have to come up with 25% of the funds, but it's a big win for the small community.
We were ecstatic when we found out.
We're ecstatic. We're ecstatic. Oh, we're so happy. Buy out our homes. If only they knew how deliberate all of this was. If only they would check into geoengineering and weather modification to understand why they're being flooded out. See, it's so easy to take over this country with Americans who just are really clueless about what's going on and what they are even involved with. And this I thought was interesting. Am I the only one who thinks we are speeding up, that the days are shorter and the time goes faster? I think many of you have heard me say that very often. So more people are experiencing something is up with time. Meanwhile, in Europe, any comment, Ursula? These thousands of people protesting in support alongside the farmers apparently have an issue with our so-called democracy. Look at all of the people out on the street. Yeah, protests can inspire people to get out and do something. So it's not just the farmers, but it's the German people who are fed up. Everybody's fed up. And Hypocrite's Matrix, it's the winter, but the days are getting longer already. So, all right. I'm not even sure if this was Germany. It could have been a whole lot of countries. I'm not sure. Polish farmers are now throwing eggs at the EU building in their city. Don't these guys eat? They eat, right? Yeah. Okay. So they should be on the side of the protesters. Ignore this like you do genocide. So, breaking, Norman, Oklahoma. Evacuations underway at University of Oklahoma's Gaylord Hall over suspicious package with message, ignore this like you do genocide.
It's cool. Oh my God.
Nobody seems all that alarmed. But could it be a bomb? Oh my God, call the bomb squad. What a fabulous country we live in now. Alright, I want you to listen to this. I'm going to play the whole 5 minutes because this has been going on. But this is a state representative in New Hampshire who is a little upset about the middle school library that these kids have access to books that are so sexually graphic, but the adults, they can't stand hearing it. The kids, hey, go ahead and read it.
The opponents of this bill will tell you that this bill is about banning books. That's false. It is about our sexualized K-12 education. It is about materials in our schools that are harmful to minors. It is about age-inappropriate educational materials. Let me read you some excerpts. For anyone watching at home, I'll pause for a second so you can turn down the volume if you wish. I'll read just 2 excerpts. First, but is there?
I'm not sure what you're going to say, but if it's graphic in any way, you can't say it.
I'll
House
read
will
just
be in
two.
order.
But just think about it for a second. Apparently straight cis people lose their virginity when a penis goes into a vagina. So what happens if a penis isn't involved?
The representative will please keep it in the proper perspective.
He's looking, he's searching his brain for, oh God, what am I going to say? Keep it clean. Don't make it too graphic. It's okay for the kids. But adults, they can't listen to it. We have seen this over and over again. That should tell every adult who sees these videos that something is wrong with the reading material in schools. If it makes adults uncomfortable, why are we giving it to the kids?
This is from material in a middle school. I open my mouth to breathe, to scream, and his hand covers it. In my head, my voice is as clear as a bell. No, I don't want to, but I can't spit it out. I'm trying to remember how we got on the ground and where the moon went, and wham, shirt up, shorts down. The ground smells wet and dark, and no, I'm not really here.
Representative Cordelli, I'm asking you to keep it civil without getting into graphic.
All right.
I know this is a very sensitive situation for both sides. I am trying to make sure that nothing too bad gets spoken at the
Nothing too bad gets spoken. But it's okay for these very young children to read. Now I see a comment. They are absolute sickos. Most adults in our country are absolute sickos. That this is continuing, that this continues. See, everybody in that chamber who is for keeping the books in the school, oh, they have serious mental problems and should not be around children at all. At all. But that this continues, it's a reflection of the American people.
same time, the member has a right to speak. So let's all keep it in proper perspective. If I feel any member is going too far, I will speak to them. But every member has a right to speak.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'll continue with this passage from a book in a middle school. I'm not really here. I'm definitely back at Rachel's house, crimping my hair and gluing on my fake fingernails. He smells like beer, and he's mean, and he hurts me, he hurts me, and gets up, zips up his pants, and smiles. Are these educational materials? Thank you.
Everybody stop it now. The House will be in order. The member has a right to speak. I've corrected him twice, and I will correct him again if I have to. Speak your point of order.
Mr. Speaker, do we not have a rule that says that when a member objects to the reading from a paper, that the member must suspend unless the House votes to let them continue?
Yes, we do.
I object to the reading of the material that the gentleman is reading.
Mr. Speaker.
We will now vote on whether the member can continue. A roll call has been requested. It is sufficiently seconded. If all the members present had an opportunity to vote, House will tend to state of the vote. 201 201 voting yea, 173 voting nay. The member may continue.
Materials like I just read are available in many schools, including Bedford High School, Dover Middle School and High School, Exeter schools, and many schools, including the Governor Wentworth School District, on the SOAR app. We need to focus on academic achievement and knowledge. The state average for English language arts in the 5th grade is just over 50%. For math, it's below 40%. Let's be honest. These explicit sexual and age inappropriate materials have no place in our schools. And I repeat, this is not about banning books. It is making sure that your children have access to age-appropriate educational materials, period.
Yeah, I'm okay. It's not just being stupid, Blues du Jour. Most Americans have no moral core. They have no moral core. You know, the things that really make life valuable, the things that bring substance to life, most Americans never, ever, ever even think about. So they've been stripped of their moral core. And it's up to the individual to kind of activate it. But when you hear this, and adults are still sitting back, doing nothing, when it's so clear that children are being destroyed by a public school system that just indoctrinates them and, well, sexualizes everything, you know that there is something wrong with the people in that country. Retail store sends internal gender identity magazine with tips for chest binding children to 70,000 employees. This is in the UK, a British retail store facing a massive boycott after it was revealed that it had produced an in-house magazine, this is it, Identity, completely devoted to gender identity, replete with tips on how to use chest binders on children. It ain't just Americans. But I think we are at the forefront. We're winning the race on crazy sickness. And here, students, and I'm not sure what school this is, CCSD school, San Diego probably, begged the school board to reverse their bathroom policy, which allows males to use the girls' bathrooms and locker rooms. They don't feel safe. But watch these two don't even care. All of whom you hear in this video are all children who attend these schools.
I'm here to express that I no longer feel safe within the four walls at Festa, and I feel that my freedom has been taken away from me. I have been waiting since 2nd grade for swimming during school at Festa, only now to find out I am sharing a locker room with a trans female who may still have a penis. I do not feel comfortable being exposed to that, and I no longer feel safe. This has nothing to do with any being a bad person. It is simply that I do not feel mature enough to view any man's penis, whether they identify as a female or a man. A penis is a penis.
Private spaces are one of the most important things in a growing boy or girl's life. Private spaces we as children go to recognize the change within us and our body. Everyone should feel safe. But I and my fellow students are being forced to sign petitions to allow these things to follow through. It becomes bullying. You are not teaching me to be okay with who you are. You are pushing me to show my vulnerable parts to somebody I may not trust. But this is not a hate speech. This is a 15-year-old student who's affected by the decisions you push upon us. I am the child on the other side of this, and I and my friends want our sense of privacy to be valued by the higher-ups.
Central to this debate is the issue at hand of allowing individuals who are biological men or women to enter bathrooms or locker rooms that do not align with their biological sex. This practice leaves many feeling vulnerable and breaches a moral and ethical boundary, suggesting that those who identify differently should utilize single occupancy bathrooms. This stance is not rooted in transphobia, but in a concern for the safety and privacy of all students.
The truth is, I'm filled with apprehension at the thought of using these facilities under existing guidelines. Policies, in my eyes, fail to protect our privacy and safety in spaces where we should feel most secure. The policy, which seems to have been adopted without a thorough consideration of its impact on the student body, leaves many of us feeling exposed and vulnerable. We need leaders who prioritize the well-being, privacy, and safety of every student. Leaders who are willing to listen, recess, and if necessary, reverse decisions that do not serve the best interests of those who have pledged to protect.
This policy change has sparked fear among a significant portion of our student population, particularly girls who now feel their safety and privacy are compromised. The idea that facilities should be accessed based on self-identification rather than biological sex is not just troubling, it's a blatant disregard for the well-being of students. To allow individuals into bathrooms and locker rooms that do not align with their biological sex is beyond discomforting. It is frankly lunacy and unacceptable. This isn't about denying rights or excluding anyone. It's about ensuring that every student's right to privacy and safety is upheld. What's currently happening is that our trusted board is in alignment with the degradation of the moral fabric of our community.
Bingo. Good on that, student. Did you read any kind of concern on these adults' faces? I didn't. Oh boy. And here, Garrett Jones, assistant principal for an elementary school in Alshua schools, says he thinks it's appropriate for 8-year-old kids, 8-year-olds, to read pornography. Okay, yeah.
I believe you two have children, is that correct?
Yes.
What ages are they?
18, 16, and 13.
And would you find it appropriate if they brought this book home and we're talking about dirty magazines and pornography in a K-5 environment?
I think it would open up a conversation that we would have.
So you think the book is appropriate in the K-5 environment, even though it's referencing pornography and dirty magazines?
I think in my, what I voted for was that it would be for the 3 to 5 age group.
Which would be what ages?
So that would be 8 to 10, 12.
So you think an 8-year-old would be appropriate to be reading about pornography and dirty magazines from school?
Yes.
I believe you two have children, is that correct?
Yes.
What age?
He thinks it's completely appropriate for an 8-year-old to be reading pornography. Do you see how disturbed adults are in our country? Yes, Americans have a great deal to do with the nightmare that we are living. And this, oh my God. So, a sub-teacher in Hebron High School filmed a female student's butt as she was walking around the classroom. Okie dokie. So the school writes, "Good afternoon, Hebron families. It is important to me to keep you informed about situations involving on our campus. Today we were informed about a concerning incident involving a substitute teacher who took photos of a student's bottom as she was presenting reports during class." Oh my God, we have a problem, man. We immediately investigated the situation, and I want to assure you, the substitute will not be returning to campus. His actions are completely unacceptable. Wow. Serious, serious problem with an awful lot of adults. American life expectancy decline. Seem to be more young people doing that. More of this. So, what's going on?
There seems to be more tragic stories every day of young people, especially young men, dropping dead. And now the FDA is warning of a catastrophic drop in U.S. life expectancy. In the first 9 months of this year, 158,000 more Americans died unexpectedly than in all of 2019. Now, just to give you some perspective, that's more than the casualties in every war since Vietnam, all of them combined. There seems to be...
And that broadcast was a while ago. United States officials concede zero active surveillance on the long-term effects. That's right. I don't know what the hell is wrong with an awful lot of Americans, but so much has come out, has been exposed, and yet we're not hearing any screaming about what is taking place. They don't care. That's what's taking place. There's no care. And yes, this is a democide. Air Force research, how to use social media to control people like drones. Well, I think they did the research a long time ago, and they are controlling people like drones. Containment control. Model looks at how groups of influencers can manipulate people. I'll put the link in the chat if you want to read it, if you don't know, that our military has done an awful lot of research on how to control people, certainly social media, Facebook, all of them have done their studies on how the social media influencers, why do you think they go to the White House? Because people are easily manipulated, unfortunately. Yeah. Department of Defense invested millions of dollars over the past few years investigating social media, social networks, and how information spreads across them. Well, I think they were looking into it a whole long time ago, even before we had social media. I can't afford to live on 40 hours. Americans are fed up with inflation. This is Alaska Prepper. I'll post the link and just want to play a few of the videos that he included in his video.
Think about how many people spend their entire life 1 hour going to work, spending 8 hours at work, having somebody tell them when they can eat and when they can piss, take that same car, go back home for 40 years to make a currency that they do not know is printed out of thin air for 40 years and never question it once.
I don't know about you, but I'm tired of going to these jobs. It's not even about my particular job. It's not about any job I've had. I'm just tired of the whole job system. I'm tired of this understanding or this belief that we have to go to work 5 to 6 to 7 days a week to barely afford to eat. I mean, who made these rules? Why do we do these things?
Hello, YouTubers. Alaska Prepper here. Happy Saturday, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you're having a good start to your weekend. I thought that instead of doing a news video today, that we would check in on the rest of the country, at least some parts of the country, and see how inflation is really going. If it's going as good as the Federal Reserve tells us and or the government pundits, that's...
And we know that it's not, right? We sure do know that it's not. You know, you can watch the video, and he has several videos embedded about people who are really like, it's not laziness. It's people who are working their butts off to get nothing. To get nothing out of it. The Biden administration just sided with a Chinese steel company. Wow. A Chinese steel company. So wasn't it a Japanese steel company in Pennsylvania that, oh, well, that's fine. Japanese take over the steel company in Pennsylvania. And now we have Chinese taking over an employer in West Virginia that will result in 900 job losses. And people still can't see that Americans are just getting destroyed purposefully. All right. This woman, yeah, shoots from the hip, and good on her.
I honestly just don't even know what to say anymore. I could never have dreamt in my worst nightmares that October, November, December, January, February, and we're still watching children being fucking blown up in their beds, in hospitals, in refugee camps. And now the Zion Nazis have basically driven them all to Rafah, the most densely populated area in the world at the moment, and now they're carpet bombing it. Carpet bombing a densely populated area and trying to force 1.7 million people out of their homeland and into Egypt. And the world's just watching. And we're not only watching, Biden and Sunak are fucking funding and arming it and making it seem like the people who are against this are the bad guys. And this million people just going about the fucking day as children are blown up in refugee camps. And it's not even reported on the news. The only thing I saw in the Daily Mirror today, there's no Tetley tea bags and no Yorkshire tea bags because of they've stopped it in the Red Sea. Are you for fucking real? 12,000, 13,000 children, 26,000 women and children, countless fucking babies with their arms and legs blown off. And we're just watching it happen. And the most disgusting thing is, if these were white kids, we know for a fucking fact we wouldn't be watching it happen. I just don't have words anymore, because if we haven't got humanity, what the fuck are we?
What are we? Good question. What are we? What the hell are we? Something's very wrong. Something is very wrong. And, you know, I thought about what she said. If it was white children, we wouldn't be watching it. At this point, I don't think it matters. I honestly I don't think it matters. Because the lack of care is so just unbelievably intense. It's all over the place. Like, caring about other people, caring about children. We're seeing it all over the place. Whether we're white Americans or Palestinians, well, we can't expect much from them at this point. But you know what? A whole lot of Palestinians have retained their humanity. But, yeah, I see other people who, you know, are writing that they're just really losing it on what's happening. There's something very, very wrong. Drastically wrong. Palestine protesters storming Downing Street for UK complicity in Rafah massacre.
I'm totally outraged and actually in almost pain because of the horrendous way that the Palestinians are being treated, and specifically today attacked in Rafah after the Israelis have basically moved them all the way through Gaza, put them in Rafah, and now are attacking them. I'm really also absolutely outraged by the way that the international community is unable to do anything about it. And the whole system that was built after the Second World War to look after people, human rights and international humanitarian law, and setting up courts to try to make sure that there wasn't a genocide has all proved itself absolutely worthless. I mean, it was amazing when South Africa put the case in, and I suppose I was one of those people who maybe was so foolish that I hoped that would mean a ceasefire.
I'm a Jewish, and we feel it's our obligation to come to stand up what's happening now in Gaza, this massacre, and there's no end to the words we can speak about it.
You see the images coming out of Rafah in the last, 12, 24 hours. It's, just when you think the situation can't get any worse for the people of Gaza, it just seems to get worse and worse. See the images of, children hanging from buildings after being blown to bits. It's just disgraceful. And to know that, the Israeli government is being backed to the hilt by the British government, the US government, we're still selling arms to Israel. We're still providing them with political cover. It's just disgraceful.
I am Irish, and in the occupied part of Ireland, when British soldiers, the civil rights movement in Ireland, which I belong to, we were attacked by soldiers and police. And it was only when the IRA started firing back at them that they stopped harassing the areas. And it's only when the Palestinians fire back at Israeli state terrorists that they'll be able to defend themselves. No, I don't want violence. I detest it. And I've campaigned all my life against war. But when people are attacked, they have to defend themselves. I believe in equality of arms because American state terrorists and British state terrorists arm the apartheid state of Israel. So I believe that the Palestinians should be armed in order to defend themselves. That's the only way they can be defended.
The world's turning a blind...
All right, I'm going to put the link in because this goes on if you want to hear people in Britain about what's going on in Israel. And 2/3 of British public support Gaza ceasefire. Isn't that interesting? Well, I guess we don't have a democracy anymore, guys. Democracy is dead. Can't you see it? Can't you hear it? Can't you feel it? No one hates like a Zionist. Well, yeah. What? Come on. They autograph bombs. They're autographing bombs. Mike Pence autographed a bomb to land on Palestinians and children. Okay? So, what's Mike? He's Christian. From Selena with hate. Wow. Who does this? Wow. I cannot imagine what this brain is like to have, like, inside. Like, that takes some extraordinary hatred. It takes extraordinary depravity. These two girls, there's a video of them playing. They're dead. They're just running up the streets. This video, it's very sweet. They're no longer with us. Sick motherfucker is right here. This face. Mossad official: children in Gaza over the age of 4 deserve to be starved. How do you even have a conversation with somebody like this? How? You can't. The psychopaths they're out and about, running wild. And the so-called good people can't restrain them. Hillary Clinton, confronted with her war crimes. This was in New York, I think. I want to say Columbia University.
Too often,
rape, and other forms of gender-based violence are used as a weapon of war and as a tactic of terrorism in conflicts all around the world. And I am going to ask you to please sit down. I am going to ask you to please sit down because you are interrupting, and you're interrupting an event that is a public procession. I will now ask if you can please sit down. If you can please sit down and...
All right, so she has them removed, but when Hillary speaks, I'll just play a little bit of this. And I do recommend that you subscribe to the Electronic Intifada. I'll put the link into this video. Oh boy. We truly do. Now, these people we should have gotten rid of them decades and decades ago. But they continue. They persist.
Thank you very much.
Diane Ronald Clinton.
That's my name. That's right.
War criminal. The people of Libya, the people of Iraq, the people of Syria, the people of Yemen, the people of Palestine, as well as the people of America will never forget.
Violating the University Code of Rotterdam. I'm asking you to leave. The delegates will now escort you out of the building. Thank you. Can you? Sir.
Thank you so much.
Sorry about
Free Palestine!
That's right. Yeah, okay, sorry.
Free Palestine!
She doesn't care. Doesn't care at all. Smiles, laughs. One sick. Unbelievably. Just, it's so flippin' disgusting. I can't believe that they're still around.
Ashamed? Are you not ashamed you're exploiting sexual violence for your own political gain? You're not fooling anyone. You've done this before. You've exploited and weaponized sexual violence in Libya to exploit sexual violence in Libya so that you can justify U.S. militarization and instability in Libya. You're doing that again to justify genocide in Gaza. You're doing that to justify genocide in Gaza. If you were truly enraged about sexual violence, you would be talking about the sexual violence in to exploit sexual violence in Libya so that you can justify U.S. militarization and instability in Libya. You're doing that again to justify genocide in Gaza. You're doing that to justify genocide in Gaza.
How this woman even gets anyone to come and listen to her speak is it's beyond comprehension. I don't. But the well-adjusted to a deeply disturbed society means that people are deeply disturbed. Oh. IDF attacking journalists. Mustafa Karouf, he is now suffering from a brain injury.
Çekti, silahın ucuyla vurdu. Muhtemelen, evet. Müdahaleler tam olarak böyle oluyor değerli izleyenler. Bakın silahın tekini çekti. Vur beni dedi. Arkasını döndü gazeteci. Boğazını sıktı ve yere yatırdı. Görmüş olduğunuz gibi çok sert müdahaleler var. Çok sert müdahaleler var. Çok sert müdahaleler var. İşte gazeteci, Müslüman, sivil ayırt etmeksizin buna benzer silahın ucuyla çok sert vurdu. Halil geri çek.
All right, I'm sorry, but the Israelis are not stupid people. The Zionist government is filled with propagandists that are not stupid. Okay, so why are we seeing video after video after video of these IDF soldiers acting with such just cruelty, brutality, over and over and over again against people who are doing nothing. Why? Why do we see, these IDF TikTok videos with the IDF soldiers that are laughing when they're bombing apartment buildings or bombing schools? Why? Why is this going on? Now, the TikTok videos, I have said this before, they absolutely have permission to post those. So, why are we seeing all of this? I think it's due to desensitize us to brutality and cruelty that a whole lot of us will be seeing. I think it's to get people to really hate Israelis and Americans, because as you listen to these protesters, they don't just talk about Israel. They're talking about U.S., they're also talking about the U.K., but it's the Americans and the Israelis. And I do think that they really do want people to hate us so much that they will be autographing bombs to drop on Americans and Israelis. They want the anti-Semitism exploding all over the world. And the hatred for Americans. This is not going to bode well for any of us. This does not keep Jews or Israelis safe. It doesn't. How is it? That's what I also don't understand. There's an awful lot of Israelis that are absolutely 100% against it. They get it. This is not keeping us safe. So why? Why does this continue and continue and continue? Because they know that it's just producing a whole lot of emotions in people all over the world. We can't accept anti-Semitism. Fox, look, the red and the blue team, one team. When it comes to war, they're all for it. Left media, right media, all for the war. And here, you gotta love the Irish. They hold no punches. Bernie exposed and shamed by Irish at Dublin University. Bernie Sanders.
What is going on right now is absolutely outrageous. We've got to do everything that we can to end the slaughter of innocent men, women, and children. What I have supported, and I will work as hard as I can to get the Biden administration to support, is a UN trying to bring about a ceasefire, a humanitarian pause ceasefire, in order to provide the desperately needed aid that the Gazan people need. When you get to the word, I get a little bit queasy, and
You get queasy saying the word genocide? You just talked about the slaughter of women and children, Bernie. That seemed to roll off your tongue quite easily, but I get queasy with the word genocide.
I don't what genocide. We use the word. We've got to be careful about that word too.
It is a genocide.
What's your definition of genocide?
Bernie, you have funded Zionism yourself. You have funded the Israeli settler state. Here you are, pretending you aren't. It is disgusting. Liar, liar, genocide denier. Liar, liar, genocide denier. It's disgusting. It is reprehensible. You are a child killer. You are a genocide denier. The United States military-industrial complex are the largest murderers in the world. It does not matter if it is a Democrat or a Republican. You have murdered people around the world. The Native Americans are still being genocided. I have never heard you once speak about genocide.
Yeah, Bernie Sanders. I will post the link to this video of this anti-Zionist Jew who he was a Zionist. He talks about his evolution, his yeah, people can change if they do the work on themselves. From Israeli soldier to anti-Zionist Jew. Anthony Lerman. Okay. Women and children are suffering in Congo. The Democratic Republic of Congo is also experiencing a genocide. They are being tortured, raped, killed, separated from their parents in the Congo. Okay? So, and guess who might be behind all of this? Protesters in the Democratic Republic of Congo burned tires and flags, in front of Western embassies, like the United States and the French.
C'est-à-dire ils prononcent autre chose dans leurs assemblées, communautés internationales, assemblées européennes, mais au fond du cœur, ils pratiquent d'autres choses. Alors nous avons décidé, nous les Congolais, nous allons prendre nos affaires en main. Nous allons bypasser ce qui a été prévu par leurs lois mensongères.
Aren't these shorts great? You can't read the English translation down here because it's subscribe and the logo for Al Jazeera is covering it. But I do have a video that explains some of it. Protesters in the Democratic Republic of Congo have set fire on the French and British embassies. Also, as you could see, the American flag, while demanding them to leave.
Violent protests have erupted today outside the French and British embassies in the capital of the Democratic Republic of the Congo. Kinshasa masses are demanding that the embassies must be closed and their personnel leave the country. They have accused Britain and America of sponsoring unending war. The masses are saying enough is enough, that Britain, France, and America must leave their country. It is an extensively researched and widely accepted fact that the Democratic Republic of Congo, even after gaining independence from Belgium in 1960, is still grappling with the financial implications of colonialism in the form of an enormous colonial tax paid to France. This tax, estimated to be approximately $500 billion annually, was imposed by France as compensation for the perceived benefits it had provided to Congo during the colonial period. The tax is enforced through a complex system of treaties, agreements, and debt arrangements, which are still in place today. The impact of this colossal financial outlay on the Congolese economy is profound, with the country being deprived of much-needed resources and funds that could have been used for its development. This serves as a stark reminder of the far-reaching and long-lasting effects of imperialism on African nations and the urgent need to address the issue of reparations for the historical injustices inflicted on colonized countries. This is happening the same time when thousands of people are fleeing violence in Eastern Democratic Republic of the Congo, as fighting intensifies between the Congolese army and the M23 armed group. Fighters reportedly surrounded the strategic town of Sake on Wednesday, a crucial step before reaching Goma, the capital of North Kivu. capturing Sake would deal a logistical blow to Congolese soldiers. The Congolese army, in collaboration with United Nations peacekeeping troops, is facing a daunting task in attempting to curb the rapid and relentless advance of the M23 rebel group. Despite their concerted efforts, the ongoing conflict has resulted in a mass exodus of people from the town of Sake, with thousands of refugees fleeing to the town of Bulengo, which is situated some 10 kilometers, 6 miles, to the west of Goma. The displaced civilians have been forced to endure unimaginable hardships, including lack of access to basic necessities such as food, water, and shelter. And their situation is exacerbated by the fact that the conflict shows no signs of abating. The humanitarian crisis caused by the conflict is therefore worsening by the day, and urgent action is required to address the needs of the affected population. Without a doubt, the rebels' intentions are a topic of great interest. I strongly recommend viewing this compelling video that I have discovered before we proceed, as it provides valuable insight into the matter.
What is the war in Congo about? The war in Congo has many layers to it, and the reasons have evolved over time. The reason at play today is the heavy deposit of mineral resources, particularly cobalt. Congo produces around 70% of the world's cobalt. Cobalt has become a significant mineral that is said to be the key to the future, and everyone wants it. The US, Britain, France, Israel, and many other countries continue to finance rebel groups to destabilize Congo so that cobalt could be extracted at a cheap price and also easily smuggled out of the country. The Congolese people have become slaves in their own country, controlled by rebel groups to manually extract cobalt for sale in the black market. Most of the cobalt that is exported by Rwanda is actually smuggled illegally from Congo through the help of the M23. The discovery of cobalt has made Congo one of the wealthiest nations in the world, but making its people the poorest in the world. Cobalt is used mainly for lithium-ion batteries for smartphones, tablets, laptops, electric vehicles, jet engines, medical scanners, and many other devices. In the course of this war in Congo, 6 million people have been killed and 7 million people have been displaced. But guess what? The entire world is silent about this matter. Done.
Yeah. And guess what? We had congressional hearings with our military officials, and they were being asked, well, are you training these troops in Africa? Are you involved in the warring in Africa? I guess those congressional hearings didn't amount to much. And we are. And yeah, okay. 12 hours ago.
Million people living near Congo basins those 26 provinces. The floods have also heightened health risks for the affected communities. Now, hydrologists are underscoring the pressing need for enhanced flood management and response strategies, particularly in the capital. The high levels of deforestation have also worsened the impact of heavy rains. The current trend of severe weather events are likely to pose a growing threat to the 83 million people living near Congo Basin's major rivers. Now, in late December, torrential rains had caused the Congo River to swell to its highest levels in nearly 6 decades, and it displaced almost about 500,000 people. Kinshasa, the capital, had witnessed chaos where homes and roads had been completely inundated. And according to the World Health Organization, the floods had affected as many as about 36,000 people and 34 health facilities. Brazzaville that neighbors Congo, climate change is identified as a key factor in amplifying the extreme rainfall events, affecting the frequency and also severity of the flooding incidents.
How convenient. How convenient for all of the greedy Western countries to continue stealing their resources. Yeah. Well, it's what we do best. It is what we are exceptional at. FBI agent. Others warn of Venezuelan gang entering into U.S. It is on mainstream media. Do you hear anything from your American neighbors? Anybody in the community talking about what is happening at the border?
Reporter's Cut, where we highlight all the stories our reporters have been working on. Now, this is a story you will only see on 9. FBI says a Venezuelan gang called Tren de Aragua has made its way to the borderland.
Yeah, that's right. This rapidly expanding gang has spread throughout South America and now into our communities, posing a threat to borderland families. Our Oriana Batoro reports.
Fastest growing transnational criminal organization known as the Tren de Aragua is a Venezuelan gang that has now infiltrated its way into the United States through various sectors of the U.S.-Mexico border.
That here in El Paso, Tren de Aragua gang members who are identified are put into prosecution pathways for 1325 illegal entry into the United States.
According to a...
And did he say anything about deportation? No. Chicago Democrats want sanctuary city tag removed.
And we have people are constantly losing their jobs here in Chicago that are born and raised.
Sort of citywide issue, migrants. They're now blaming progressive leaders and the city's sanctuary city status for ongoing problems. Now, think about this. Since October of last year, tens of thousands, over 34,000 asylum seekers have arrived in Chicago. Shelters have been overcrowded. The city has been sending millions. And there is anger in a city where poverty and homelessness is not being addressed as aggressively as the millions of dollars being afforded to immigrants. Lawmakers say this kind of money grab, it's unsustainable, since Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker initially deemed Illinois would proudly consent to helping those who sought the U.S. for sanctuary. Chicagoans are now pleading with officials to end that sanctuary status, take care of locals who are in need. And joining me right now is Zerlina Smith Members. She is an advocate with the Chicago.
I'll link below anybody is in Chicago and wants to hear more about what they plan on doing, but good luck, because it is an agenda. It is a purposeful agenda. And unless the American people unite and stand together and get this stopped, it won't get stopped. Migrants in Mexico have used the Border Patrol One app, Department of Homeland Security, that app, 64 million times to request entry into the United States. 64.3 million times to request entry using a smartphone app that the Biden administration has tried to establish as the main gateway to the American asylum system at the southern border. Why would we make it easier? Why would we make it easier? Because it's a purposeful agenda. Americans, no matter what color of skin, we're all losing in this purposeful agenda. We all lose. The migrants win, we all lose. Do you think maybe what's happening is the purposeful destruction of the United States? Excuse me. Well, I guess a whole lot of people just can't see it, but yeah, once again, I've posted on this, and February 15, Fortune comes out. Chinese hackers are positioning to strike U.S. critical infrastructure with disruptive or destructive cyber attacks if conflict breaks out. They're positioned already. They're positioned already. Just waiting to get on their smartphone, their activation. Cloned Border Patrol van. Here. Cloned. Okay. So, cloned Border Patrol van near the hot spot for crossing right now in the Tucson sector. An agent was assaulted by the driver while thwarting this human smuggling event in Newfield, which is right next to San Miguel, where thousands are still crossing daily. God. The driver is a U.S. citizen and was attempting to smuggle 11 undocumented individuals further into the interior in the cloned vehicle. Oh, he's facing criminal charges for assault. What will happen then? Might he go to jail? Probably not. These military agents...
Una de las dos.
Venezuela. And this is Hernando Arce, who is in San Antonio, Texas. In Texas, how did these migrants get into Texas? Oh, well, we know.
No me puede decir las dos. ¿Cuál es más importante para ustedes? Por eso vino a los Estados Unidos. Señor, usted.
Gracias.
¿Por qué viniste? ¿Para económicas o por miedo del gobierno?
De las dos.
¿La dos? No, solamente me puede dar uno.
Las dos.
No puede ser la dos.
Claro,
La migra no quiere escuchar la dos. La migra quiere saber uno. ¿No me quiere decir? Ah, ok. Bueno. Aquí le tengo ya en grabado diciendo que no quiere darme la respuesta. Okay. They're not answering my questions.
Well, they also don't want to show their face. Venezuelan prisons emptied.
La prensa, una pregunta, señor. ¿Viniste aquí a Estados Unidos para razones económicas o por persecución de política?
No,
Lo escucho.
razones económicas.
Económica, señora.
Igual económica.
Económica.
Económicas.
Económica. Económica. Puede ser dos.
Razones económicas.
Económicas. ¿Qué se da?
Económica.
Económica.
What are we hearing? Oh, they're coming to the border because they're escaping the violence in their country. They're escaping political persecution. For all of these asylum seekers, 95% do not qualify for asylum. Economic reasons is not a qualification for asylum. But they have no problem saying that, right? All right, so this is an O'Keefe video, which I'm just going to play a few minutes of it. The link is in the chat, and it's 23 minutes. Very interesting.
Lied to me. We just spoke to this woman. She was a larger woman, sort of portly looking.
You hear this is private property?
Was with a group called Muerte. Is that the group?
No, I'm not sure what that is.
It's all this secrecy I've never seen before.
Our illegal immigrant was nearby recording everything they were saying.
Just asking me a bunch of questions.
Y no tienes que mantener la mascarilla. Yo solo poní cuando los militares o esos gabachos vinieron para no me...
Esos ahí son supremacistas blancos. They told us they are completely paranoid.
Veniste en un tiempo un poco raro y somos un poco paranoicos.
Two very shady-looking Mexican men with guns dressed in military garb showed up.
Una gente. ¿Cuánto te cobraron? Esos no me cobraron nada. ¿Qué no pides así? ¿Mande? ¿Por qué no pides a la medida que y lo te va a contar?
Pause the car. The undercover journalist is currently embedded inside. We don't know what his status is, but we're going to let him continue to infiltrate. They said they were from Sonora, Tijuana, famous for cartel activity.
¿Tu nombre? Pero tú eres trabajador aquí. Un amigo lleva para el pueblo. dónde? ¿Cuánto cobran?
$300, an odd request for a humanitarian group affiliated with a 501c3 with a $400,000 budget.
Unitarian Universal Church of Tucson. This is Mary. Can I help you?
Hi, Mary. I would like to make a donation.
Yeah, No More Deaths is the only one we actually partner with.
Oh, so you guys...
They are a ministry of the church.
What would you say their budget is roughly?
About $400,000 a year.
Is it the Unitarian something or other?
Not sure.
Okay.
Y a veces hay gente mala así que anda por la carretera. A veces la patrulla pase. Entonces, solo para que sepa.
Where do these cartel guys get their, I don't want to call it courage, but their nerve?
They worship something like that.
Our colleague that was supposed to pick Caesar up got scared and left as it became dark and cold. Caesar was stranded and afraid.
I have no clue. I'm in the middle of a dirt road near the cap where they cut me off. Because I'm losing a lot of signal.
I think if we overcomplicate it and stick all of our in the pie, it's going to get real.
Link is in the chat. Arizona and California now are the hot spots for crossing Phoenix, Nogales, Tucson, and a whole lot of other areas are inundated with these migrants. Harlem residents concerned a luxury apartment building may be becoming a migrant shelter.
Harlem residents are accusing the city of using the bait and switch tactic on them. They tell us what was built as a luxury apartment building almost 10 years ago is now being turned into a migrant shelter. CBS 2's John Diaz explains it came without warning.
We should have been informed. It's like they snuck in here.
Executive Director of the community outreach organization Silent Voices United, Tiffany Fulton, is not keeping her voice silent about what she says is the city blindsiding her Harlem community.
I'm looking for answers.
Last week, she snapped these photos. Crews moving furniture into a vacant 35-unit complex on Adam Clayton Powell Jr. Boulevard near 130th Street, including boxes of twin bunk beds. Thursday, they were seen through windows all set up. Fulton says local leaders confirmed with her they're moving migrants here.
They're actually turning this into a sanctuary for asylum seekers.
The building was first marketed as a luxury doorman building. Condos include kitchens with granite countertops and marble bathrooms. Renderings show it even has an indoor swimming pool on its roof. But city records state its developers defaulted on loans, and for a decade, the building remained empty.
And a major question area residents want answered as soon as possible: how exactly did the city even get control of the building?
With rents skyrocketing, Harlem residents say this could have been turned into affordable housing.
These apartments could be used for us to go into.
We welcome migrants, but the way things are done is very important. And when residents are not informed, when residents are not, opinions are not taken into account, this is what causes animosity.
They're all hoping for some clarification soon. In Harlem, John Diaz, CBS 2 News.
Now we reached out to the mayor's office.
No comment. All right. Well, could have been turned into affordable housing. Oh, but no. And maybe we should stop saying, well, we welcome migrants. How about stop that? You know, it's almost like the preface that everybody has to say, you know, to at least skirt, you know, the abject vilification that you're going to get if you say close the border. But here, all right, and I showed this very quick video last night on the live stream with these migrants that are smuggling drugs across the border. Well, here's a longer one. And this is at a school.
La migra, la migra. Ah, los van a recoger la camioneta. Mira, en cortos a Estados Unidos. Graba la camioneta, graba la camioneta. Las placas. Que no se cuentan. Grábale las placas. Mira, en corto. La migra, la migra.
Good protection at the border, don't you think? Fabulous. Right on the school. All right, again, I'm going to stress awareness and never do anything alone if you can help it.
What are you doing? Huh?
Take a look at this video. Tarzine Jackson says this stranger tried to break into her home and attack her and her daughter. It all began last Saturday as she worked at her desk.
I heard some commotion on the side of the house.
Jackson says she looked outside and saw this man drinking water from the spigot on the side of her home. She told him to stop. She even offered him something to drink.
I'll give you a water bottle.
But the guy grew angry.
He starts cussing me out and coming up to the front of the porch, and I'm just like, what are you doing?
He attempts to go inside.
He tried to break down the front door.
Then he grabs the post of this tower her cats used to scratch from her front porch. He smashes Jackson's front window.
He threw that through the window, got glass everywhere.
Shards of glass grazed her 16-year-old daughter. That made Jackson furious.
I went into Mama Bear mode and I went after him.
Jackson rushed outside with a taser wand.
He tried to grab it, but it's a wand taser and he got shocked on his hand.
But the would-be intruder didn't give up. He hurled debris at Jackson.
He threw a water bottle at me. It hit me. He started throwing pieces of the fence from next door.
Jackson says several neighbors eventually chased him off. Police arrested Anthony Dixon a short time later.
It was a lot.
Okay. I know the mama bear instinct probably is very intense and hard to control, but try to control it because you have no clue what the result will be. 69 cars vandalized in 24 hours in Seattle.
Evening Federal Way police say those teenagers, 5 of them, were tracked here to this McDonald's, but when they realized they were being followed, they quickly took off, and police, they had no choice but to let them get away. Now, they are believed to be responsible for nearly 69 car break-ins. Victims and local police want those individuals caught and local laws to change.
It's going to happen.
Video and pictures of smashed windows at Dumas Bay Center, a community theater in Federal Way, shows the very beginning of what police are calling an expensive crime spree, costing drivers thousands of dollars in repairs.
There were 5 cars, and then we realized, oh no, there's 6 more, so there's 11, and then, oh no, there's 10 more, so it just kept growing.
At the theater, February 10th, 21 cars in total were damaged.
It was patrons, actors. We had a couple of board members that were there, and their cars got hit.
The same suspects believed to be responsible for the damage in the theater parking lot were also captured on dash cam video. As federal police and the mayor say, the group of 5 young teenagers continued to cause destruction at the Commons Mall, hitting 7.
This has to be some organization, criminal organization. It's got to be. I mean, woof, woof, woof, woof. 4 dead in San Mateo home with husband, wife, twin boys, murder-suicide. Telling you, it's happening.
Justin, about the family of 4 found dead inside their San Mateo home. It includes how the parents died. But the biggest question, why? It remains a mystery. NBC Bay Area's Marian Favreau is live at the San Mateo Police Department with what she just learned. Marianne.
They don't know why. But the two boys that were found dead were not shot, had no signs of trauma, and they were either poisoned or they were suffocated. Video shows Seattle police arrest 2 juveniles for stealing a car at gunpoint.
We're seeing the moments 2 juveniles trying to make a run for it after Seattle police say the 2 carjacked a woman at gunpoint. It all started in Greenwood Tuesday night at around 8:30 when a 12-year-old boy and a 13-year-old boy allegedly used guns to steal a Subaru Outback from a woman. About an hour later, the young suspects failed at their second carjacking attempt. Shortly after, police find the Subaru and start their pursuit. Police chase the suspects south into downtown Seattle, where the pursuit comes to an end at 7th and Thomas.
Get out of the car!
Okay, so the Seattle police can pursue, can chase in this instance, but apparently not in this instance. Where is it? Oh, wow. Did I not? I thought I brought it up. Okay, I didn't. Well, there was another crime in Seattle, and it was something having to do with, you know, a robbery, but apparently they can't, the police can't chase because of the law. All right, I'm not articulating that very well. Can't believe that wow. All right. I'm sorry. Forget about it.
This bizarre story started here, where Danielle rented a car just like anybody else, but it ended with her in jail for a crime she didn't commit.
You know anything about a warrant out of Nevada?
Felt intimidated. I was surrounded by a number of police officers. And I had 2 of my children with me, my 1-year-old and my 15-year-old son.
Danielle Bursett sat in jail for 6 days this past August after Enterprise Rent-A-Car reported the Kia Sedona she rented in 2016 as stolen.
It was horrible. It was degrading. It was depressing.
She had returned the vehicle on October 31st, 2016, after renting it to move from Las Vegas to Pittsburgh. She rented the vehicle on October 3rd, and on October 9th, she called Enterprise and extended her lease until November 1st. According to the lawsuit, she was instructed by an Enterprise employee to park the car and leave the keys under the front seat. Then on February 23rd, 2017, she got an email confirming she had returned the vehicle. It still didn't stop a criminal complaint being filed in Nevada on December 9th, 2016, alleging a felony charge against her for embezzling a rental vehicle on August 5th, 2016, which was more than 2 months before she had even rented it.
These charges that still exist, even though the charges are dismissed or not gone.
But what's even more egregious is after we filed this lawsuit clearly alleging what they had done wrong, they recently, just 3 days ago, sent a letter to Danielle saying, hey, you damaged this vehicle. It is compounding issues upon issues.
Danielle doesn't want anyone else to experience something like this, so she's speaking out.
I would not rent a car again. Never.
Now, Brian.
She has the evidence that she is completely innocent, but they hold her in jail for 6 days. And the charges are not dismissed. And then, of course, the compounding. Now, we're going to seek damages because you've damaged the car, we're in trouble. Yeah, so you know what? It's so painful to realize that we really don't care about anything. Gonzalo Lira died while being held in a jail in Ukraine. Journalists spoke out against what was happening in Ukraine. Have you heard anything from our fabulous mainstream media about Gonzalo? Nothing. Nothing. Silence. Right. But we're hearing an awful lot about this Navalny. What is his name? Navalny.
Guys, I don't know what to say. I'm going to try to be analytic, but I want you to know Alexei Navalny was my friend. I was with his wife last night. I'm here in Munich talking to her. His daughter, Dasha, goes to school at Stanford. So this is a pretty emotional time for me. Putin killed Navalny. Let's be crystal clear about that. I don't care about any investigation.
Zelensky killed an innocent journalist, an American journalist. Haven't heard anything. It goes against the narrative. California bill would pave way for free tuition for black students. Oh, I don't know. It's called discrimination based on race. And that's unlawful. There's legislation about this. But who cares? Free college tuition for black students and other perceived marginalized communities. Everybody but white students. Apple fans are starting to return their Vision Pro. Why? Well, it's making them sick. This thing, this virtual thing that I showed a video of people walking around with this on their face, and yeah, they look like they're from outer space, and looks like they're conducting an orchestra, but they're actually, it's somewhere in space. The computer that they're accessing as they're walking around with this thing, and it's creating headaches, eye strain, motion sickness, and yeah, I guess they weren't told that it would make them sick. Too bad. They should have known that it would make them sick. Working hard, trying not to starve. It's hard finding a good paying tech job. The tech jobs are leaving in spades.
Big startups are starting to fail. More than 3,200 have failed just in the last year and a half. Who's in the graveyard that might surprise you? Bird, remember those e-scooters everywhere? Fastest startup to ever land $1 billion valuation. Now delisted from the stock exchange and laid off 23% of its staff. How about Olive AI, healthcare automation company? Highest valuation was $4 billion, but it shut down last month. Then we've got Convoy, kind of like Uber for truckers and shippers. Raised $1 billion, 18 rounds, shut down in October. WeWork, co-working space, raised $11 $11 billion and then filed for bankruptcy. Carter reported that 87 of the startups on its platform that raised at least $10 million had shut down by October. What happened that killed all these unicorns? A flood of money since 2012, a total of $344 billion invested during that time, driven by low interest rates, which caused inflated valuations, and then everyone got a little too excited to find the next Uber or Facebook. If you own a startup, you need to start being fueled by profits, not promises.
I'm going to put the link in to this video, and this woman is a techie who lost her job at Amazon. She's been trying to find another job, but she explains that those in her circle who are also techies who've lost their job, the jobs that they're finding, if they can find a job, are not comparable salaries, even though the work is comparable. So you work, you have experience, you get laid off. If you can find a job out there, then the salaries are 10 or 15% less than the job that you got laid off of. So an awful lot of people are really hurting here. Mass layoffs.
Hey guys, so from past 1 month I've been seeing every day some news related to layoffs, and these layoffs are like not in just 100 or 200 numbers, right? It's in thousands and thousands. I don't understand right now what is going to happen in 2024, but just here you can see that there's so many news. Salesforce mass layoffs, 700 employees, Microsoft 1900, Google mass layoffs. I hope you're hearing this news of 12,000 people. Just imagine.
A whole lot of jobs are. It's amazing that Americans still believe that there could be adult Americans who believe the economy is doing well. Here, another big layoff. West Liberty Foods, 260. Nike, 1,600 laid off. College of St. Rose, 646. 133 from Fort Worth schools. I mean, 300 from Mercy Health, and a whole lot of those who are in the medical profession are losing their jobs, and they thought they would be secure. Graphtech, 100. Toast. That's the name of, 550 are Toast. 838 Strategic Financial Solutions. 300 from Catalan. I think I read those last night. And we'll just do some animals now, because I think a whole lot have thresholds for this hell that are lower than mine, for sure. But look at this. I love it. I love it, I love it, I love it. And here, the mama dog is teaching the puppy how to get through the dog door.
He said, "Don't be sad. I show you again. This is what you do."
Mother is probably thinking, oh God, come on. Come on, you can do it, you can do it, yeah! Got a little help from Mom. Ah. Beautiful cat. Beautiful turtle. You know, here, newborn cats in Rafah. I have not met a Palestinian yet that doesn't like cats or dogs. Everyone that I've met are animal lovers.
هذه مين يا حبيبتي؟ دلوعتي مين؟
لابس قطع حامي.
بس جديد هذا عم تلبسها. إلها 10 أيام.
وأحسنوا إن الله يحب المحسنين.
كن محسنا فيما بقى. هذه الزلحفاء اللي بقت تاكل خيار هي وريم كل يوم. يا الله. سبحان الله، الذكريات هذه الواحد مش ممكن يفرط فيها.
Yes. Love to see more of that. Oh, so the man that rescued this dog and found the dog a home came to visit. The dog was quite excited.
Who's here?
You know, we two-leggeds really hold back how we feel about people, whether we feel good or bad about, people. But it would be wonderful if people didn't hold back. Not that they should be wagging their tail, but to just genuinely express how we feel about others. And all of these dogs are, well, the wheelchair has come off and they're living it up. How cool. Oh boy. I'd love to be around that. They are living it up. They love it. It's a great beach, too. This little guy is the reason I'm still alive. In all honesty, he is the last and only reason I'm still here today. Depression has been the hardest thing I've ever had to go through. Trying my best to remind myself tonight that he needs me here with him. Yes. Just living alone. No purpose in life. No hope that it's going to get any better. There's no reason to go on. But the four-leggeds give people a reason. So, I'm going to end with this that was sent to me by a subscriber. And I just don't know what to make of what people are doing anymore.
Turned off her electricity a week early.
And it's a life-threatening decision since she relies on a breathing machine. News 4's Spencer Humphrey was there when it all happened. Spencer?
Yeah, Kevin and Jolene, that woman showed me the warning letter she got from the city telling her if she didn't pay the city about $50 by 1 week from today, they'd turn her power off. So even I was a little surprised when in the middle of my interview with that woman today, the city showed up and cut it off anyway. This is the face of pure helplessness, captured at the exact moment Carolyn Davis lost all hope.
I just feel like they don't care whether I live or die.
The moment she watched the city of Stillwater show up a week early and cut off her power.
She just shut it off.
Davis and her husband say for about a year now, their monthly city electric bills have
the electric bills have been going up quite high. $1,033.33. 1 month we get a bill for $250. The next month it's $1,000. One recent bill, these bills were shown on in that segment for $500, and they hardly use any electric. But they shut her power off. They gave her a week to send in $49 and something. But they shut it off a week early. And they don't know why. All right, I am going to play just a couple of minutes of this. I'm going to post the link. You can watch the whole video. It's only about 8 minutes long. But this is what people need to be doing. Much respect to the owner of this hotel.
My tenants are my family. I don't want them to be homeless. I don't want them to go hungry.
Dee's one of the kindest people I've ever met in my whole life. What she did for me is really an amazing thing.
Morning. How you doing?
Good.
Good. You want some decaf, Bill?
Sure.
Meet Denise Lytle Callahan, or Dee as she's known to people around here.
There you go.
Now, on the surface, there's nothing out of the ordinary at her hotel, the Anchor Inn. But this place is unique, because for Denise, it's not all about profit. She runs her hotel to help people.
Some of my tenants definitely would be homeless if it wasn't for the Anchor. There is zero housing for them that they can afford.
The high price of housing is all across the country, even here in the small town of Little Curran, Ontario, about 6 hours north of Toronto.
Lots of my tenants live paycheck to paycheck or check to check. And sometimes they come downstairs and, they're out of cash. They're allowed to run little tabs. I didn't realize there were so many people without housing. Everything's good upstairs?
Lovely.
Yeah, nice and warm?
Yep.
So Denise did something to help. Instead of renting her rooms to tourists at a premium, she let local people, like Bill Lanktree, who otherwise couldn't find a place, move in.
But it's fine for you to stay upstairs as long as you possibly can.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
I got my lazy boy chair by my TV.
Good.
That's where I sit.
Good.
Bill has made Apartment 9 his home for a year and a half now. He was a custodian in apartment buildings and only has a small pension. Bill's an example that working your whole life doesn't guarantee anything anymore. How hard?
It sure doesn't. It sure doesn't. And the order of followers, which I see a man turning off power, had discretion. If he was awake people would do that as well. And why do you think he had discretion? And it was a woman who actually turned the power off. Yeah. Well, we have to bring our best selves. We have to get out of our self-centeredness. We have to stop being greedy. We've got to help people in our communities. We've got to extend ourselves. Animal shelters need help. Shelters need help. Do what you can. That's our responsibility as being a part of the human race. Try to make people's lives a little bit more pleasurable, easier, whatever you can do. And be safe, man. So much is happening. I can't show you everything that is happening, but every single day it is it's a wow what I am seeing with the crime and the violence taking place everywhere. So thank you for showing up, and I do hope that I see you tomorrow. Yeah. Good night and good luck. Ciao, guys.